I think that there are certainly a lot of positives to that if there's willing participants, but they certainly have done a fantastic job in kind of being the upstart company, the uncarrier, so to speak. So John Ledger and his team have really captured the imagination of the public in terms of attacking the pain points that we have in the wireless industry. Mm-hmm. Their network is very similar to our spectrum position, so it fits in that sense. And of course, obviously, at their growth rate, they're going to need more spectrum. So those things make some sense. I think there's things that don't make as much sense. They're obviously controlled by a German company who has strategic initiatives both in Europe and in the United States, and they may not be in a position where they want to do anything. We have other options that may be more attractive, to our board and our shareholders. So, I think there's a number of options that are out there. Certainly, T-Mo is an option.
Well, speaking about the German owner, Deutsche Telekom, there are reports that one of the reasons why a deal might not happen with T-Mobile is that they don't value Dish shares as highly as you value them. There's a disconnect there. Where do you think Dish should really be trading at?
Well, I never can predict the stock market. I would only say that in the long run, we think our shares are undervalued. We think with the spectrum value that we have, we're probably undervalued with the spectrum position that we have, but we have to prove it to the marketplace.
Undervalued by how much, Charlie?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak as a shareholder. I haven't sold any shares recently. So I still have the shares that when we originally started the company. So I believe in the long-term future of the company. I mean, this is our 35th year in business, and I think our best days are ahead of us. So I think it's ultimately how you can manage the company and how you can take advantage of the things that may happen in the marketplace to grow your business. And you can't be afraid of change, and you have to have a team that can adapt to change and be willing to change. And I think we have that here at Dish. Short-term focus, I think, is probably you have an AT&T DirecTV merger that if approved, we'd want to see what the conditions. We publicly have not opposed the merger, but we have said that there needs to be meaningful conditions, particularly protect consumers for broadband rights. The incentive auction is coming up, and there's a set aside for new competitors, potentially, and that now is set at 30 megahertz, and I think us and other companies would like to see that to be higher, provide competition, because it's really what stands in the way of real competition with AT&T and Verizon is the fact that they control the vast majority of the low-band spectrum.
Right.
So they have better coverage.
Top of mind, what is the number one condition you want to see for you to say, okay, this merger is okay for us?
Well, I think the main condition is that obviously AT&T controls a lot of the broadband pipes, and I think so. And what people do now is they bundle the video and the broadband pipe together, where you really can't pick the best video choice for you as a customer if you want the broadband. In some cases, they're the only meaningful broadband provider. So what we want to see is make sure that broadband is sold as a standalone item and not in a fair price to consumers. And I think the other part of it is that you want interconnects to the broadband pipe. You don't want to the ramp to broadband. You don't want that ramp to be closed. And net neutrality addresses some of that, but you'd like to make sure that the conditions in the merger are going to survive court cases.
Going back on your wireless assets, some people estimate the value to be something like $50–60 billion or so. What will you do with those wireless assets? Because there are reports that for you to really be able to leverage them up, you're going to have to partner with a wireless company. But if you don't, might you spin off those assets? Might you separate Dish then into two, video and wireless spectrum?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this on one of our conference calls. We have looked at different corporate structures. We continue to look at different corporate structures so that you may end up with assets in different formations. And the reason you would do that is just to have flexibility for how they could get put to use and maybe the timing of when they could be put to use. So we've looked at that. We haven't made any decisions on that yet, but it's certainly something worthy of looking at.